Ladies and gentlemen, tier list season. So I don't know if I should make these tier lists an annual thing or not, but a lot of you guys have been requesting it and I do like making them. And the good thing is, a lot of stuff has happened. Also, this kind of series, alongside of my expansion draft videos, also serve as the annual roast of me, RTH. But it's okay, guys, because we're all joking around, right? It's just fun goofs. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, roasting me is funny. So comment down below why you think I am wrong. I would actually love to hear your thoughts. And also, I haven't made a video in a minute with my actual face on it. So how's it going, guys? We're in my new office here. Just moved into a new house. We got, where are we here? We got Jimbo on the monitor. Hello, Jimbo. We're gonna actually be improving my setup in the future here. We're working on it. And before we get into this tier list, I do want to add some more context to what actually each tier means. Hall of Fame. This player is either in the Hall or is heading toward a Hall of Fame career. Also, keep in mind, because I did get a lot of comments on this, international play is a strong indicator of a Hall of Fame player. Superstar. This player is a bona fide first-line star, whether it is forward or defenseman. They're a franchise piece, but not quite a Hall of Fame player. All-star. A top 6 piece, first liner. So like a 70-point player. I would say someone like a Vladimir Tarasenko. You wouldn't call them a superstar, but they definitely are a star player. Above average. A middle 6 player, so, a good piece, but just not a star. Meh, a solid player, but nothing special. Massive letdown, so not quite a bust, but massive letdown. And the Yak Attack, Nail Yakupov tier, aka bust. Alright, so let's again start from 2000 and go up. Oh wait, actually, I take that back. Just get this one out of the way. Okay, Rick DiPietro. Rick DiPietro would leave a massive legacy, as in, he arguably signed the worst contract in NHL history, as he would sign, and get this, without really proving much, a 15-year, $67.5 million contract, which equals roughly $94 million today. Yikes. Now I will say DiPietro did have a couple solid seasons. He did deal with injuries, except it's just really hard to argue against that $94 million price tag for a goalie who did spend time in the minors. I know, guys, keep this in perspective. He was at one point the most hyped up goalie prospect the game has ever seen. The first goalie in NHL history to go first overall, and was paid $94 million to play in the minors. So with that being said, I'm gonna go in massive letdown. Now obviously there was a couple stretches where he probably could go in above average or even meh, but when you take his whole career into consideration, massive letdown for sure. And what's crazy is that Rick DiPietro would get that contract bought out, and he will be getting paid until 2028. He signed that contract in 2006, so just your average 22-year contract. 2001, Ilya Kovalchuk, and I think this one's the obvious candidate for superstar. Kind of a tough one here though. He does have really solid international play. He does have 3 KHL championships, but at the same time, he did also kind of abruptly just abandon his team on a massive contract. But he does have a Maurice Richard trophy and was a very good goal scorer in the NHL, so superstar, easy. Rick Nash, and this one's easy for me, which is all-star. So, a good player who played on a bad team, I would say. Jeff Carter would come in, but it was too late. So it was kind of a ticking time bomb for Rick Nash in Columbus. 40 goals, 79 points in his best season. All right, Marc-Andre Fleury. So in my last video, I triggered many people because I didn't put him in the Hall of Fame. And I want to say this was my rationale because I do feel like it was solid. Yes, Fleury did have 3 cups. Yes, he was a good starting goaltender, but he had no hardware. He had no significant, analytics backing up that he carried his team. In fact, they kind of show that, Pittsburgh more so carried him. But I will say, Fleury has been a stud. In fact, my man just took home his first Vezina at the age of 30. Well, he's turning 37, which is awesome. No signs of slowing down. And I will say, I do think that kind of cements himself in the Hall of Fame category. Alex Ovechkin. Easy clap, Hall of Fame without a doubt. 9 Maurice Richard trophies, 65 goals, 112 points in his best season. My man won a cup. Look how much hardware he has. It's just insane. In my opinion, the most pure goal scorer in NHL history. We can debate this. And again, 9 Maurice Richard trophies I think should kind of point towards that. And I mean, you have my vote for changing it from the Maurice Richard trophy to the Ovechkin trophy one day. Sidney Crosby. Obviously Hall of Fame, triple gold club, so much hardware, and one of the most impressive careers in NHL history. 2006, Erik Johnson. And this one might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to still put him in meh. So overall, Erik Johnson did serve as a solid top 4 option. He had a short stint in around 2010 where he was excelling. But other than that, his analytics, his point totals are just pointing towards him being okay. Patrick Kane, Showtime baby, and this one is another obvious candidate for Hall of Fame. 3 cups, a lot of hardware. His best season was surprisingly in 2019 where he would put up 110 points, but Hall of Fame, easy. Steven Stamkos, and this one will be a bit tough. Back-to-back Stanley Cups, 2 Maurice Richard trophies, but the thing is, Stamkos at one point was considered the next generational goal scorer. I mean, in 2012 he would even put up 60 goals, but you know, there was around a 5-year stretch where he was just above average analytically and on the stat sheet. And so, you know, a lot of that had to do with injuries and stuff out of his control. But I just feel like if Stammer was more consistent throughout his entire career, it would be a Hall of Fame lock easy. But I just got to go superstar. That's where my gut's pointing. Maybe I'm just delusional, but when I compare Stamkos to the likes of, you know, Ovi, Stid, Patrick Kane, I just feel like there's some clear separation there. Johnny T, John Tavares, superstar. Now, Tavares had a tough support system with the Islanders. Again, in his best season with the Islanders, the second best player on the team had 51 points, which was Mr. Kyle Okposo. But he definitely has been that franchise, you know, number 1 center his entire career. He doesn't have any hardware in the NHL. He does have some international medals, but superstar is the obvious place for me. Taylor Hall. And again, this one's pretty obvious to me, which is All-Star. So, you know, after that Hart Trophy, I did expect Taylor Hall to start trending upwards. I thought he could be a legitimate superstar in this league, except there has been a lot of rough patches. 39 goals, 93 points in his best season, which was the Hart Trophy season with New Jersey. And he still does have time to turn his career around here. But, I mean, who are we kidding? Signing with Buffalo was never the answer. It just wasn't, but we'll see. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Nuge. And this one's obvious for me, which is above average. So the Nuge has been a solid player his entire career. 28 goals, 69 points in his best season. But I consider him more so a great, you know, second line option. So above average is the place for me. Nathan MacKinnon, Mac Dog. One of my favorite players, if not my favorite player. The man has Hall of Fame potential, but he just isn't there yet. Superstar is the obvious place for me. 41 goals, 99 points in his best season. In my opinion, the second most electrifying player in the league, right behind McDavid. So take that for what it means, I guess. MacKinnon could easily be in the Hall of Fame, but with his limited hardware, limited international play, and next to no playoff success, I feel like Hall of Fame is a bit too premature. Superstar. Aaron Ekblad, All-Star. So in 2019, Ekblad, I think, really broke out as the superstar talent, but the thing is, he just hasn't been consistent enough. This year, he was very inconsistent 5-on-5. You know, he's still only 25. He's a right-hand shot, valuable defenseman who could easily move up to the superstar level. And I could even see Ekblad taking home a Norris one day, but he's just got to be more consistent. Florida has to be more consistent on the blue line. Connor McDavid, McJesus, and I don't know if this is premature to some of you guys, but Hall of Fame easy. If you think otherwise, in fact, if you are one of those people who say Matthews over McDavid, I hate your guts. I hate your guts. No, but for real, McDavid is only 24, already has 8 major pieces of hardware and international play. The guy is already passing the milestones of Sidney Crosby. There's not much more to say here. And he's really standing alone at the top with the all-time greats in NHL history. McDavid even put up 105 points in 56 games this season. Like, that's incredible. Now, his playoff success has been weighed down by the likes of Peter Chiarelli, all of the Edmonton Oilers management. But again, McDavid still has he's already accomplished so much and still has a crazy future ahead of him. Pablo Escobar, Auston Matthews. And this year specifically, at least for me, I feel like Matthews really showed he could elevate to the next level. Like 41 goals in 52 games. He was on pace for 65 goals. which if we think back here, that would tie the likes of Ovechkin for the most goals we've seen in this entire era. And at the age of 23, I guarantee you that Auston Matthews will bring home several more Maurice Richard trophies. However, I am going to go in superstar. I feel like the Hall of Fame is still a bit premature. I think Matthews still has to prove some more. But again, he's still very young and he does have limited playoff and international success. But definitely could be a Hall of Famer in the future. I just still think it's a bit too early. Nico Hischier, above average. Now, I've definitely been a bit disappointed with Hischier's development the past couple years. He did have some injuries and he is obviously coming up on a rebuilding Devils team. A team that does have a lot to look forward to with players like Ty Smith, Jack Hughes, and some other great prospects in the system. But analytically, he just isn't there yet. He is only 22, and something I always forget is Hischier is the captain of the New Jersey Devils. I feel like that just gets overlooked a lot. Rasmus Dahlin, Buffalo. That's all I have to say. Rasmus Dahlin has the size, the talent, the IQ, the tool set to be that complete #1 defenseman. Power play, penalty kill, eating big minutes, you name it. But Buffalo. No, but for real though, Dahlin only just turned 21 a couple months ago. My man was still 20 this past season. He's had some tough injury breaks, but still has Norris potential in my opinion, but I will go above average. Jack Hughes. After one of the worst seasons by a first overall pick in NHL history, I'm glad to say that Jack Hughes had a strong bounce back season this year. Now his 31 points in 56 games may not be the most impressive stat line, but if you dig deeper, if you look into his analytics, Hughes did have a big bounce back season in almost every way. But keep in mind guys, we expected this. Jack Hughes was the first player in USDP history to go from, the USDP straight into the NHL. Usually they take the college route. But his skill levels were always there. They were always very apparent. Obviously he wasn't there physically, which is why we saw that harsh, development curve. So with that being said, I will put him in above average. I think Hughes' development from last year to this year was a big indicator that he can still be that #1 center, franchise piece. All right, and the last one here, Alexis Lafreniere. And geez, guys, I will say this personally, I was very let down by his rookie season. Now, that doesn't take away from what he's going to develop into. Obviously, he's still very young by Jimbo, but it was definitely surprising to me at least. 12 goals, 21 points. If you asked me before the season, I would have said Alexis Lafreniere was a Calder finalist lock, but my guy didn't even receive a single vote. Like, we had guys like White Cloud and just random prospects that you don't think of receiving votes over Lafreniere, which was just shocking. Because the thing is, Laf is a physical player. He plays with grit, he has skill, he has all the pieces, he just couldn't put it together. And on top of that, he had a tremendous draft resume, which pointed towards him being, a great player right at the bat. Again, obviously prospects develop at different points. I don't think this takes away from his potential, what he's going to develop into, but I'm going to put him in meh. But anyways, guys, here's a list. If you disagree with any of my picks, definitely comment down below. I'm ready for the roast. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Expansion draft and then tier list back to back. This is not good for my mental health, but it's a joke, guys. Yeah, it's a joke. Also, guys, let me know if you want to see more tier lists in the future down below. I love making them, and I have a couple in mind, but I'm not sure what you guys want to see. So let me know. And as always, thanks for watching.